Peace Reflections. Before we start, if you've been feeling called to go deeper, I'm now offering one-on-one spiritual alignment calls, 60-minute sessions, to help you realign and find clarity. Message me on my Instagram at HumbleAli2times to book your spot. Alright, y'all, man, it's your boy HumbleAli2times, you feel me? Back in that video, man, for me, follow the Instagram at HumbleAli2times. Now look, check this time I'm talking about the phase that nobody talks about after spiritual awakening. Now look, for today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to the Most High in general for everything, for giving me these amazing downloads, dropping this amazing information on me, you feel me, no cap, etc. I'm also giving you a shout out to myself as well for wanting to receive this good information and give out this good information as well. I'm also giving a huge shout out to everyone and to y'all. Y'all literally taking energy out of y'all's day to come rock with me, show me love and support, you feel me? I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all so much more than love, always deeply. I'm also sending good positive energy, good positive protection, good positive healing, and good positive energy towards everyone always deeply. If you want to buy my ebook, you can. It's $10.90. Link is going to be in the description and in the comments down below. Let's go ahead and get more deep into the video. What nobody tells you after spiritual awakening, right? So look, right? With spirituality, right, and with spiritually awakening, right, first of all, there's multiple different forms of a spiritual awakening, right? Just you living, you're already experiencing a spiritual awakening, right? A lot of people think that they have to get into spirituality or they have to do certain things to be spiritual, but in reality, in actuality, you are naturally spiritual. You are naturally a part/connected to spirituality. Why? One of the main reasons is because you are born. Excuse me. So since you are born and since you are created by a source, you are naturally spiritual. You are naturally connected to spirituality naturally, right? So you don't have to do anything at all to be spiritual or to be part of spirituality. Genetically speaking, the way you were created, you're already naturally spiritual / in the spiritual community. We all are naturally. Now, with spiritual awakenings, let's dive deeper into spiritual awakenings. The thing is with spiritual awakenings, right, there's multiple different versions, in other words, multiple different genres of spirituality and spiritual awakenings. So what a lot of times people don't talk about, and what this definitely doesn't get talked about enough, probably, maybe so, is that when you are having a spiritual awakening, you might notice that it feels like you don't know who you are. The reason why you might feel like you don't know who you are, even though you do know who you are, but the reason why it might feel like you don't know who you are is because you're changing. You're channeling different energies, right? You're dressing different. Your hairstyle is different. You're wearing this hairstyle that you thought that you never would have wore before, but now look at you. You're here and you're wearing this new hairstyle. Your clothing is different. You're dressing different. You kind of like aren't really feeling these old relationships or these old friendships that you was once so close and had such a strong bond with, right? Things are changing within you and around you, right? Excuse me. So as you were on your spiritual awakening, right, I'm going to be giving y'all some tips in this video, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's journey and everybody's spiritual awakening / spiritual awakenings with an S is different, right? You know what I'm saying? So as you are, spiritually awakening, right? A spiritual awakening is not just a one-time thing. We are constantly going through experiencing multiple different types of spiritual awakenings, right? I'll give an example. Let's say you're a mother. You just became a mother. Today is the day that your baby, came into this world, right? That's a spiritual awakening. That's a spiritual awakening for the baby. That's a spiritual awakening for the mother. That's a spiritual awakening for the father. And that's a spiritual awakening for anybody else who's in that room that was a part of that experience, right? So a spiritual awakening, it's not just about, I see the world for what it truly is. Yes, that's a very big spiritual awakening. Yes, that is a form of a spiritual awakening. Yes, that is a spiritual awakening. But there are also a lot of other types of spiritual awakenings as well. Another example of a spiritual awakening is you start crying. This is a very good spiritual awakening because, like I've already broken this down before, crying is one of the best forms, one of the main forms of healing, right? Crying is a very, very good thing to do. This is why a lot of people, when they cry, it's like, dang, I feel better. Like, even if I try to stay on that situation or try to stay mad or try to stay sad, this thing, I'm naturally just happy again. I'm naturally just vibrating high, in other words, right? Again, right? So with spiritual awakenings, right, it's imperative to take some breaths, really work on that breath work, right, and just really, because it can feel overwhelming. It can feel overwhelming, right? You're soaking up all this information. You're learning new things about yourself. You're learning new things about the planet. You're remembering things about yourself. You're remembering things about the planet, etc. So sometimes it may feel like a lot. It may feel like, dang, the people around me, they don't see it. And you get into this stage of where you just want to help a lot of people. That's what a lot of people do when they go through certain spiritual awakenings. And I get that. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. That's a very beautiful thing. That's a very confident, wise thing to do. That's a very smart, intelligent thing to do, etc. Right? It's a very high vibrational thing to do. But the thing is, with helping people, this is something to you know, maybe keep in mind, is that respectfully, you want to help the ones that want the help. Right? You never want to force information. Right? Even if it's your family, even if it's the people that you really love and care about, and you want them to awaken, you want them to see what this world truly is, etc. That's something that they have to tap into. You can recommend it, you can try to force it, etc. You can try to manipulate them, etc. It is up to them if they want to truly tap into that information more, etc. So, you know, I recommend you to not force anything, right? Especially when it comes to knowledge and information and insight, etc. We should recommend y'all not to try to force anything at all, and that goes for myself as well. You know, but yes, so a lot of times when we go through certain spiritual awakenings, we want to help a bunch of people because we want them to see what we see. We want them to see the truth. But if you were going to help people, I recommend you to help the ones that want to be helped, right? You can suggest things, you can recommend things, but if you see that these people aren't trying to do these things, they're not really trying to listen to your advice, or they might listen to your advice, but they don't actually take your advice, that's fine, that's okay. But I recommend you, let's not force the energy. Let's not try to force the information, because first of all, remembering who you are, you know, remembering what this planet is, etc. Remembering your people, remembering your culture, remembering who you truly are, where you come from, etc. That takes energy. That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of energy, right? So, you know, you don't want to rush that, right? You don't want to I'm gonna try to learn everything about the world, and one day I'm gonna do a bunch of research. I'm gonna do this, that. Go at your own pace. That's another thing too with you know, spirituality and with, you know, life in general. To be honest, it's important to go at your own pace with things, right? If you're tapping into this new spiritual awakening, etc. I recommend you with a lot of different things in life to go at your own pace, right? You don't have to rush the process. You don't have to move real slow, but you don't also have to move real fast. Go at your own pace, right? Another thing is too that I want to touch on too with spiritual awakenings, right? Don't expect people to get you. Why am I saying this? A lot of people are not awakened. They are, but they aren't at the same time. A lot of people aren't awakened enough to where they really know what's going on. They really like know why they're like, etc., etc., etc. Don't expect people to just, you know, just agree with everything you say, be willing to like help you, bro. When you are having spiritual awakenings, people might leave out your life. People might think you're weird. People might think that you're like a narcissist, or you're just trying to prove yourself to the world, or you're just trying to know too much, you're trying to be a nerd now, etc. It's a lot of stuff that goes on and happens and take place with these spiritual awakenings, for real, right? So, you know, it can be hard. It can get very hard sometimes, bro. Right? The people around you, you might not really feel their vibe anymore. They might not really feel your vibe. They might feel like you're being fake or you're switching up. In reality, you're not being fake. You're starting to know and remember more of who you are truly, etc. So, you know, with these, when you're going through these spiritual awakenings, it's imperative to really talk to God and really listen to God and listen to your higher self, right? It's always good to listen to your higher self. It's always good to listen to God, you know what I'm saying? Because like I've said before, people can feel you, people can understand you, right, etc. But people will never 100% get you. The only things that can 100% get you is yourself and God. That's it. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not saying people can't get you. I'm not saying people can't feel you at all, etc. Yes, they can, but it will never be 100%. This is another reason why taking time, taking energy for yourself, this is another great reason why it's so important. It's important to really understand and understand yourself on a deeper level, because when you do that, it'll help you with a lot of situations, like, you know, with the spiritual, with stepping into this new spiritual timeline, stepping into this new spiritual energy that you might be in, right? Or that you might be stepping into, right? So, you know, with spiritual awakenings, go at your own pace, right? Don't expect anything from anyone, right? And have open energy. What I mean by have open energy is that you might want to try to see everybody's side of the story. That doesn't mean that you have to agree with their side of the story, but like, I'm gonna use myself as an example. I try to be a balanced person, right? Respectfully, not trying to be mean or nothing like that. The thing is with myself, I'm very good at seeing people's sides of the story. I don't always agree with people, right? Maybe so, but I'm very good at seeing people's sides of the story and why they did certain things, right? You know what I'm saying? So if you can develop more of seeing where people are coming from, now you might not just take things as personal as much. You might not, you know, let this affect you in a negative way as much, etc., etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? These are some ways that can help you with, you know, with your spiritual journey and journeys, and with going through different awakenings, spiritual awakenings, etc. It's obviously a lot of other more stuff as well, but I did want to give y'all some information about this stuff, right? And another thing too that I want to say, this is one of my favorite quotes. I've said it a lot on this channel, but I'm gonna say it again before I end off this video, is that, you know, the universe got you, bro. Universe is never gonna put anything on your plate that you can't handle. So if it's on your plate, you can handle it. If you couldn't handle it, bro, do you think it would be on your plate? So you can handle it. You're already handling it. You know what I'm saying? And the universe is always with you, bro. It's imperative to be big on that faith with yourself and with the universe. And it's important to have faith in others as well, I feel like, in my opinion. But just because you have faith in somebody doesn't mean that you have to keep giving them tries over and over and over to get it right, etc. But look, man, I love y'all, man. There's so much more to love always deeply. And I catch y'all for most on the next one, man. Peace.